his career. Some of you watching the finals, since it's a Game 7 for the first time. The story with Larry is he's going to be checked out at the Mayo Clinic next week, and that will determine the starters whether he can coach again. And certainly whether he can coach next year or not. And you don't get a little tired. And it takes a lot out of you. It's the 25th playoff game for Detroit on top of an 82-game regular season. And everybody is leaving it on the floor tonight. I know that's a cliche, but there's no other way to put it. Wallace, Ben Wallace.
Al, you're absolutely right. Detroit
is 3. Parker and Ginobili had 2. Ginobili's basket, by the way, the first fast break points by San Antonio tonight. And so Detroit has its 9-0 run, answered with a 7-0 run, and thus a 2-point game with 5:50 to go in the third.
I like the defense. Full court defense disrupted. We're already down to 13 seconds.
Phillips slip, gets back up. Now we're down to 7 seconds. McDyess gets free and drops it from 18.
You love Ben. There's still plenty of time here for Detroit, but they've got to get stops. Oh, there
what a steal, and it's Ben Wallace again.
Right.
Coming over to the sideline. He is everywhere. Another huge possession, and Phillips with a pull-up to drop it in to make it a 4-point game.
There you go now.
President of the team, and Grant Hill was the leading scorer for the Pistons.
The frustration, Al, has been their shooting percentage. For whatever the problem, they're only shooting 37 in game 1, 40% in game 2. That will not get it done here tonight.
Prince gets doubled, but gets it back outside. 5 on the clock. Hamilton launches and makes from 3.
Guys went over to Lindsey and said, my bad, I should have called out the pick. Lindsey said it's okay. Assistant coach Bill Ford went to Lindsey and said, don't jaw with the referees, something that Larry Brown has been preaching to his kids. He says, look, don't worry about the referees, just worry about us as a team. Al?
Yeah, because that's been a steady theme throughout the
He's at 40 points between them. They're getting a nice production with the other starters up front. Rasheed Wallace is the only guy in foul trouble with 4. You've only had 3 turnovers, so you're basically maximizing your possession.
And inside, and the basket will count. He's 3 for his last 13, going back to the Palace in Auburn Hills the other night.
They've been looking at this ever since Prince came back into the game. Posting Barry in the low post on the right side.
Hunter stops and hits.
They need right now is they've got to get high percentage shots and then hold San Antonio to 1-shot attack.
Detroit has seen a 7-point lead with 6:10 to go down to a point. A little over 2 to play. Prince.
Oh, wow.
Floater from the...
Too far out on the floor for his liking, guys.
Despite the fact Michelle and Tim Duncan in the first half scored 11 points. Parker had 12. Ginobili had 10. 24th game, 5 with the series tied 2-2. And it's the first of those 24 tied at the half, which Hamilton made. And the Spurs are up by 4.
What a valuable man.
Wow.
Into play, here he is without a field goal up until these 2 threes. But pressure, clock going down, he's the man.
Hamilton. Winning back-to-back. Last year, they became only the second team to win all of the home games in a 2-3-2 format in the NBA Finals. And their ancestral beginnings as the Detroit Pistons, the only other team to do it back in 1955. As the Fort Wayne Pistons before moving to Detroit. Here's Chauncey Billups.
Now San Antonio, 2 full timeouts in a 20-second. Detroit, 2 full timeouts. They have used their 20 seconds.
Neither team with a foul to give. We'll shoot free throws the rest of the way. Rasheed Wallace on a turnaround.
He's a great team player. He's all the intangibles, all the dirty work. He can come in and play, a small forward, a power forward for you, and then he wants the ball with the clock going down.
Now Chauncey Billups, 30 points tonight. He'll drive. He'll go all the way. He'll put it in. They You know, Yubi, in the first 3 games in this series, the home team has won in each of them, and that's in contrast to what took place in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, when the home team won only 55% of the games. The home cooking makes the difference here, and Detroit is...
I like the Detroit defense, though, Al. I know they gave up the second opportunity, but they got the shot block, and the rotations were there. We're seeing a lot of fire, a lot of spark here in their movements.
Richard Hamilton, look at Bowling. All over him, but Hamilton is able to inside.
Well, that takes a lot of courage, Al, when you're his size, because you know you're going to have a tremendous amount of contact. Once he gets down in there, not only is he not afraid, but also he can finish, and he finishes with either hand.
And here's Tayshaun Prince.
Put out a great point, Al. You know, over 50% of his shots are down inside of that 6-foot area.
He lives there. He makes 1 of 2. He's the leading scorer in the game with 9, and Billups goes all the way to the basket. Duncan.
Oh, good steal.
Taken away, and that's another steal.
That was a nice strip by Lindsey Hunter.
Detroit had 3 steals in the last 1:13 of the third quarter, and McDyess puts it in. And Yubi, when you think about the possible lockout on July 1st and all of the rest, and that's for another day right now, as the commissioner and the rest of the 19,000 people look on for the second quarter of Game 2. Arroyo starts the second quarter for Detroit.
Detroit has got to clean up a couple areas, Al. They're 3 for 8 from the foul line, and there's 5 foul shots. They've missed at least 5 opportunities inside the painted area. They're getting opportunities. They have 7 offensive boards. They're working hard. Just that they must get Chauncey Billups involved. And we said that earlier in the first quarter. They've got to get him handling the ball. They need solid decisions, and plus when the shot clock is down, they need a guy who can score.
Nice pass to McDyess with an emphatic jump.
They put together a strong second half and get back in this game.
No question, they're capable of doing it. But right now it's San Antonio. They've led from the outset. They finished with a flourish, of course, the other night after a shaky start. Very much in command of this one to this point.
Everyone wants to be talking right now about them. They've got to score. They've got to score. What they've got to do is start to play better defense, Detroit defense, and then they'll get their opportunity. They've been able to get into that.
A 20-point Spur lead. And Billups, it will count. Thinking around that Duncan screen. Shot clock down to about 4. All the way in. Layup doesn't go, and back it comes, and Tayshaun Prince into the front court for the Pistons.
Now, if you appreciate defense, the rotation and the intimidation on that layup was just beautiful to watch.
Hamilton gets free inside. He scores and gets fouled. Hamilton's so off.
Field goals. The rest of the Spurs are 4 for 16. They're going to make it hard for Duncan to get the catch.
Duncan has 9 points. No other Spur has more than 4. Billups, and Duncan comes out to guard him. So he goes by 10 and lays it in. You've got Duncan outside.
Detroit is getting what they want. They're getting good looks at the basket. Rip Hamilton is struggling a little bit right now. He's 3 for 10, but he's getting good looks. So you never worry about that on the road. Just continue to run what you're going, and you're going to be wide open.
Arroyo with a shot clock at 5. Knocks down a long 2. As we get underway, Detroit has the first possession of the third quarter. This is Billups guarded by Parker. Now Prince with the ball with Ginobili on him.
Beautiful.
Hamilton gets free, knocks one down.
Hey, Bruce Bowen.
But James Patterson's 4th of July. And I just happened to look at how far Larry's gotten into it, about 130 pages. So I said to him, when did you start this? He says, today. I said, wait a second, I know you spent an hour on the treadmill. He said, well, you know, I'm not really a speed reader. I'm thinking 130 pages on game day, you're Evelyn Wood.
Everyone relaxes differently in the afternoon. Some guys
Ginobili this week, and Manu told me tonight that while he's very honored by that, he said, my last name is not common, so I wonder what the kid is going to say when he's 15 years old.
It may be a few kids named Ginobili. The Spurs won the championship, beat the Knicks in the finals. 2 years ago, they knocked off the Nets in the finals, and here they are again. Pistons, of course, in the finals for the second year in a row, but right now down by a dozen halfway through the fourth quarter. And Prince makes it 8.
Maybe he'll feel better as we go along.
Miami leads by 6, just under 2.5 remaining in the first. Here is Rasheed Wallace.
For Miami, they've been very good on the home floor, getting that ball inside, Wayne slashing and scoring it well, and you can see the numbers there. The first 3 home games, what they were points in the paint and what they are tonight.
Pistons started only 6 of 15 from the field, and they hit 4 of 5 to end the quarter, led by Rasheed Wallace, who's hit 3 in a row. Shot clock at 1. Hamilton got it off.
Oh, man. Wow. But there is so much pressure out here, and you've got to somehow let it go and just let the ball fly and just play.
Is it more of the fear of failure?
Absolutely. I think so, yes. I agree with that. To be the GOAT in a game like this will live with you forever. I think that's what every player fears.
That dueling field goal stopped a 10-0 run by the Pistons. Detroit has scored in 7 of their last 8 trips down court, make it 8. So the Pistons now lead by 3 with 5 minutes to play in the third.
That's exactly what Shaq needed, an easy basket and not have to battle Ben Wallace down on the block.
Rasheed Wallace mistimed on the rebound. Harry Brown stays with Eldon Campbell, Ben Wallace and Tayshaun Prince on the front line. Phillips and Hamilton in the backcourt. Wade on Hamilton. Shot clock to 6. Here is Phillips for 3. Yes! And the game is tied at the bench. Like he was holding his calf when he went down, was being helped up by the official Joey Crawford. And of Let's Go Heat here at American Airlines Arena. Hamilton with the lead. Then Wallace with the stuff.
In 2 games in the finals against the Lakers. Those games were highlighted by Pistons hustle plays, making plays all over the floor. Larry Brown went into a
timeout. O'Neal had some words for young Rasul Butler. He said, look, you took that shot way too quickly, young fella.
Final seconds of the half. Rasheed Wallace for 3. 1 and 5 tenths.
Spirit back that they had in Game 5, and if Wade can play, that will be a huge uplift for their team. I think it was Danny Ainge who once said it's not the Tour de France. You know, you don't carry the lead over. It starts back at 0-0.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Just to clear that up for our viewers. They're going to be sitting by their TV hoping to see their beloved Pistons another time.
And Doug, we raised the question at the start of the telecast, centering on the game here tonight. Would this be the finale for Larry Brown as head coach of the
playoff time? That's when I dominated in the paint because I knew it was more important to get down low.
But you know, that's deceptive. I would have thought that the percentage was much higher. As Lindsey Hunter
a little too hard. He was looking for the foul on that play on Rip Hamilton when he was throwing it in.
Hamilton guarded by Eddie Jones. Here's Hamilton, draws the foul, it'll count.
The defense has to pick up on the perimeter, otherwise Detroit will be back in this game in a hurry, and there'll be too much pressure on Miami's big men. Now over to David Aldridge.
Guys, the Pistons trying to not think.
Moments ago, after picking up his 4th foul and a technical, but Rasheed has not been into it. 20 minutes, just 2 shots, 1 of 2 from the field, coming off a strong game the other night.
I think Miami has done such a much better job on Hamilton's curls as he knocks down the jumper. He had 0 for 4 in Game 2, missed his first 2 shots in the first half of Game 3, hit 3 big field goals I thought gave him a huge dose of confidence. I kind of got him off the schneid, whatever that means. I never knew what off the schneid meant, but
you know, just hearing you say that word is enough for me.
That means you can't buy a basket.
Good. Thank you, Doug. Carlos Arroyo, Antonio McDyess have checked in for the first time. Antonio routed by Rasheed Wallace.
That's 4 straight jump shots that Wade has missed now since that quick start.
McDyess being played by Doliak. Here is McDyess.
Well, he gives him such a big...
Damon Jones in the backcourt, so Dwayne Wade on the bench, getting a rest. 6-point Piston lead. We are early in the second. Marv Albert with Doug Collins, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager, David Aldridge working the sideline. Here's Rasheed Wallace for a deep three. And Rasheed.
They need him to lead this team. We talked about it in the open. He's the guy that's got the ball in his hand, that's got to direct the team. He's got to keep this poised.
14-point Detroit lead down to 4. Hamilton extends. O'Neal ready to go. Dan Crawford with the basketball. And game 3 is underway as Rasheed Wallace controls. Phillips played by Damon Jones. Then Wallace comes out. And here is Hamilton.
In the Indiana series, he only lasted a half of that. He said before the game that I'd rather be in pain than be that limited. Marv?
All right, thanks, guys. We saw Dwayne Wade going to his left, which he does so effectively in getting the roll. It's a 13-8 lead for Detroit. Tayshaun Prince not able